We're all used to these types of intersections, conjoining roads for crosswalks, stop signs, and stoplights. But now our area is seeing these roundabouts, giant circles conducting traffic, and many of you are fed up, to the point viewers have written into us about how to stop roundabout construction. So tonight, Andy Judson is taking a look into how roundabouts got the green light.
It's just a circle, but people seem to have a lot of opinions on it.
There's people who just cannot stand roundabouts.
Well, they slow people down a little bit, and they decorate the intersections.
You may be thinking, that belongs in Europe.
I can't seem to get over to the left, honey.
Like them or not, roundabouts like the one I am standing on are being used more and more for intersections, and we wanted to know why.
Traffic engineers used to have just two options for intersections, a stop sign or a stop light. That is until a new idea was brought from overseas.
Roundabouts were invented in around 1970 or so in the United Kingdom.
Over the next 20 years, roundabouts popped up across the UK, Australia, and Europe. But when they came to the US in the 1990s,
there was initially a little bit of a reluctance here in the US.
For the last 40 years, Alan Glenn has specialized in roadway design, serving on national committees that establish the standards of how highways are laid out, and playing a key role here in California, especially when it came to roundabouts.
I actually was in charge of statewide design standards at Caltrans at the time that the Brits were pushing them here on the U.S.
When he and others finally gave the green light to roundabouts,
it's probably become one of the most effective tools in our toolbox because there's now hundreds of thousands of these across the U.S.
Since roundabouts came to the U.S., their benefits have proven overwhelming. Here's why. For a normal intersection with a signal, there's 32 points where vehicles can cross paths with one another, or what experts call points of conflict.
And in a roundabout, there's only 8. It eliminates all right angle and left turn conflicts.
And when entering a roundabout, you can see I'm forced to slow down. I can't just barrel through it. And those are the reasons why statistics show that roundabouts are actually way more safe than stoplights and stop signs.
We've seen in the U.S. over the last 20 to 30 years a 90% reduction in fatalities, a 76% reduction in injuries, 35% reduction in overall crashes, and a 50% reduction in crashes involving pedestrians.
So we put these stats to the test right here in Sacramento. If you're familiar with Midtown, you know the streets go from roundabouts to stop signs depending on which corner you're on. So we filed a public records request for right here on G and 25th, where there's a roundabout in the intersection. And we also asked for the same information a block away on G and 24th, where there's a stop sign. Now, our roundabout safety test proved true. There were 5 collisions on the intersection with a stop sign, while there were 0 at the intersection a block away with a roundabout. So why not just replace all intersections with roundabouts?
Roundabouts are not the ideal tool for every intersection. They require a larger footprint because they take more space.
In 2021, a study from U-Haul found Roseville was one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. And as its public works director, Tchaikovsky has had to keep up with developing the city and its roads.
You know, one of our first roundabouts was at the Galleria Mall. And then, we'd put in a few at a time.
Today, the city of Roseville has about 20 roundabouts, with more coming.
We're building one down the street near the fairgrounds.
But besides the space needed for roundabouts, he says they can also cost a pretty penny for cities like Roseville.
Our most recent roundabout, the cost all in for design and construction is over $7 million. Traffic signal probably run you about $500,000.
Tchaikovsky says for new areas being developed, the cost is not as high.
It's a balancing act. You look at the intersections with the worst accidents and see if you can do something like put a roundabout in.
Down in Elk Grove, Glenn is working on a project that will connect Interstate 5 with State Route 99 and Highway 50 through Grantline Road.
But it does go through the community of Sheldon.
He had to figure out how to preserve Sheldon while creating room for a lot more traffic to go through.
We evaluated one set of alternatives with signals and one set with roundabouts. The City Council did prefer the roundabout solution.
Is there any other traffic tool you think could become more popular like roundabouts have?
One relatively new configuration is what we call a diverging diamond, and that is very promising.
He says this concept reverses the flow of traffic and eliminates the need to turn left across traffic. And he's right about them being up and coming. In fact, California's first diverging diamond was debuted in Manteca in 2020. As for roundabouts, if you don't like them, you may want to get used to them.
So what I'm hearing is we are all going to be seeing more roundabouts.
Yes, absolutely.
Certainly seen how many cars have been coming through just during our interview.
Yeah. And no accidents.
All right, so Andy joins me now. Hot topic for some people. You either love them or hate them.
It is. It's very polarizing.
It is. We got a lot of viewer comments.
Yeah.
but to be honest, though, there are some negatives to the roundabouts. Even though officials are saying that they tend to be safer, there are some negatives.
Yeah. One thing that experts told me was a concern when they're putting in a roundabout is the fact that they're kind of confusing for any pedestrians, right? But specifically for visually impaired pedestrians, they rely so much on hearing that, especially as California and other states get more and more electric vehicles, they're hard to hear. So that could be a concern, and why the engineers that put these roundabouts into place are really considering the population they're catering to in that area where the roundabout is going in.
And as I mentioned, we've had quite a number of people reach out to us about this. Some people asking, how do they stop roundabouts from coming to their areas? What is your best advice for those people?
Yeah, so what I found out reporting this is that it's actually your city's public work department that is in charge of implementing and deciding on those roundabouts. So for anyone who wants to voice their opinion on a roundabout coming to their neighborhood, I would say go to your public works department.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Andy. And before we go, I do want to congratulate Andy and our originals team here, because they just got an amazing nomination for their investigative series, The Price of Care. They were nominated for a Peabody today. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it is a national award that honors excellence in storytelling. And Price of Care was nominated alongside news productions like 60 Minutes, PBS's Frontline News Hour, and then also CNN. And ABC 10 is one of 2 local organizations across the country to be recognized with this honor this year. Andy, if I can just say this for 1 second, you're one of the reasons, you and your team are one of the reasons why I wanted to come to this station. I saw the work that you guys have been doing, and it is unparalleled. The integrity that you guys have in your journalism is just amazing, and I'm so happy just to learn from you. So congratulations, more than deserved. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's such an honor. I've been in tears since we found out, but it really, truly speaks to the volume of the families and sources that come forward and telling us, their stories and trusting us with their stories, even in the face of retaliation. So we couldn't do it without them. But yeah, it's such an honor. Thank you so much.
Of course. Congratulations again, Andy.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, King Tickets. We asked, why are you spending hundreds of dollars to see the Kings play? And you let us know your thoughts. We'll have that coming up after the break. Also, later in the show, the start of our new series, Anxiety Nation. We're looking at what the condition really is. All right, we are just 4 days away from game 1 of round 1 of the NBA playoffs, and the Kings are taking on the Golden State Warriors at the Golden One Center. The game airs right here on ABC 10 on Saturday. Make sure you tune in. We were at the Golden One Center yesterday when tickets went on sale. People we spoke to were spending thousands of dollars for the first 2 games, and we asked you if you were buying tickets. If so, why? Paul Eddings from Lincoln says that he just spent $700.
We haven't been in the playoffs for so long. It's been such I'm 24 years old. The last time it was 17 years ago, right? And I'm like, I don't even remember any of those times.
And we also heard from Faiza Alhim, who wrote for the Sacramento Bee for nearly 30 years. And she got playoff tickets and is a season ticket holder. You can see her in the stands here. And she remembers the day when the Kings were just getting started in Sacramento.
Late husband and I had season tickets when Reggie Theus and Otis Thorpe and LaSalle Thompson and that crew was playing, and it was fun. I'm from the Bay Area, and you just have to support a team that works this hard these young men are just amazing. And it's fun and it's community, and I love sports.
All right, and we want to hear from you. Let us know if you are buying tickets to the playoffs. If so, why? Share your favorite memories with us. You can always text us at 916-321-3310. You can also email the team at tothepoint@abc10.com. We always love hearing your thoughts and, of course, seeing all of your Kings' favorite memories. All right, coming up, tens of millions of people in our country have anxiety disorders, but what are they really? Our series Anxiety Nation premieres next.
I'm constantly worried about something not getting done. Some people call it the type A personality, want everything in order. It's anxiety.
Yeah, you or someone you know likely has it. Anxiety disorders impact nearly 40 million adults in this country. And over the next 3 days, we're talking about what anxiety really is, what triggers it, and how people like mothers, veterans, and young professionals are all finding help. And we also want to hear from you. What's something about anxiety that you feel people don't really know about? You can scan the QR code on your screen, text us your answer. And here is part 1 of our series, Anxiety Nation.
It's okay to not be okay.
It's a chronic thing I have to manage.
Holding those feelings in was one of the better things for me.
Having a therapist isn't you're crazy, it's actually you're brilliant.
Something that I can't change about myself. In fact, it's okay, I've learned to embrace it.
Body tension.
Your heart beating.
I can create scenarios that never even existed.
Clench their jaws, grind their teeth.
It feels like a weight.
It feels like drowning.
Anxiety Nation.
I was a very happy, jovial center of attention, and I liked being around all types of people. I started to social, distance to where I wasn't out. I wasn't as happy as I was. I wouldn't get up in the morning ready to conquer the world. And what I saw was, and my family saw, was a shift in personality.
I didn't do really well around people, and social situations would get very overwhelmed and very panicky and would try to find a way to escape. I have probably felt that way for, again, as long as I've had conscious thought.
Anxiety gives us that arousal, that extra oomph to get things done. Once it starts interfering with our functioning, then it becomes a problem. Many people who have excessive anxiety, they can't function as they would want to.
I fall into that pattern of trying to white knuckle it, so to speak, and get through it, whatever it is, but that hasn't been effective. If anything, it just creates this vicious cycle of spiraling anxiety.
To have a problem would be physically down because of one of my medical conditions, and then my PTSD would come up because I would get upset, or I'd start asking, all the intrusive thoughts come back with, why did this happen? What am I going to do? Because I basically lost my military career after 24 years.
A health task force is now recommending all adults under 65 be screened for anxiety.
Anxiety is associated with a number of other problems, such as substance use disorders or substance misuse. And obviously that's got a cascade of problems. So I think it will only better society and behoove us to be able to screen and treat more people.
Only within the last few years have I really come to know that I have anxiety. I had no idea.
Anxiety disorders fall under 5 major categories: generalized anxiety disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, panic disorder, PTSD, and social phobia.
It manifests itself in the physical form 100%. My heart will start beating out of my chest. Even just the feeling of being numb or frozen in time.
Being diagnosed can stir up different emotions.
When I got the diagnosis of PTSD, intermittent explosive disorder, general anxiety, and major depression. I felt like a second-rate human. And it took me several days and the support of my wife and my kids to say, okay, this is where we're at. And for us to get any better, you have to figure out where you're at, take a deep breath, and take your first step.
It was comforting for me, honestly, because again, it did have a label. I also look at it as being a superpower for me. It allows me to think very hypercritical. It allows me to see the big picture.
There was some relief in knowing that, okay, I shouldn't be feeling this way, but I also experienced shame, just and feelings of unworthiness or weakness.
More than 3 million adults reporting severe symptoms are not in treatment.
A lot of people will say, I'm strong, I can handle it. They're white knuckling it through what they're doing. It doesn't have to be that hard. Life is hard anyway.
I've tried to cope with it behind closed doors. Inhale. One of the biggest steps I've taken in healing and effectively managing my anxiety is the acknowledgement and the acceptance that it's there and that it's a part of who I am.
Every now and then I may not be on the top of my game, and I just need that reciprocity just to understand that there's something going on and just give me the help I need. And I want to grow, I want to foster, I want to regain my family. And whatever that takes.
Tomorrow on To The Point, we are looking at what triggers anxiety. And again, we do want to hear from you. What is something about anxiety that you think people don't know much about? You can scan the QR code on your screen to text us your answer. All right, a lot has been happening today. Here is something else that people are talking about here locally. Homes in the area of Tahoe are exploding. Yeah, all of that snow in the Sierra is sitting on gas lines, and not all of it is being shoveled. South Lake Tahoe's fire department tells us calls about gas lines are significantly higher than in years previous. And then there's this story. A man claims he found this 7-foot alligator in the American River in Fair Oaks. The Wildlife Care Association found out about it last week, and the alligator is now in the care of the state, and they're trying to figure out where it came from. And a fire station is back open in South Stockton. Fire station number 1 on Fresno Avenue closed due to budget cuts nearly 12 years ago, and it needed about $650,000 in renovations. Now response times in this area are expected to improve. All right, let's go to take a look at our beautiful weather forecast, taking a look at our current temperatures right now. Sacramento is seeing 68, same thing over in Stockton, also seeing 68. And here's a look at your 10-day forecast, looking pretty nice this week. All right, here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow on 6:30 here at To The Point. Something big is coming to downtown Sacramento. The WX portion of Highway 50 will soon become a mural museum, and they need your help. We'll show you all the work that's going in it tomorrow night right here on To The Point. And don't forget, our series Anxiety Nation also continues tomorrow. We are looking at what triggers anxiety. And again, we do want to hear from you. What's something about anxiety that you think people just don't know a lot about? You can always text us at 916-321-3310, or you can always email us. And of course, before we go, I want to mention here that you let us know what you are doing for the Kings game. Did you get tickets? Are you watching it with your friends? Are you taking your neighbor? Share your photos, share your memories. We really want to share them here on air. You can email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. I hope you have a great night. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.